Well, welcome to the second video in the Carver Clan Travels, and this will be on picking a cruise line. So we're going to kind of quickly work through the different categories of cruise lines. And from there, we're going to move into which cruise line category we picked and why, and then which cruise line within that category we actually picked as we were going forward. So the first thing I did is go back out and look at several sources across the web that highlighted different categories. And you can see what came back from Google AI, Cruise Critic, All Things Cruise, Folger, and Sophisticated Travel. And as you can see, they're kind of all over the place, although they're capturing accurately components of the actual cruise line industry. But if you go through and you actually highlight where there's similarities, you can come to a consensus. And so that's what we're going to use. And that's listed down there in the bottom. This idea that there are mainstream cruise lines, premium cruise lines, luxury cruise lines, and ultra luxury cruise lines. So given this a set of categories, and the academic in me has to opine. The way you get a paper published is just change the nouns, and the way you get a web posting published is you just change the nouns, and that's what's happened here. Um, but the consensus on the bottom is what we're going to explore. So let's go look at mainstream. And within mainstream, if you see something highlighted in green, that means that we've been on that particular video or on that particular cruise line, I'm sorry. And so Norwegian and Royal Caribbean we've cruised with. And these are going to be your larger, 5,000, 7,000 with slides and rock walls and parachutes and a lot of energy and a lot of craziness going on. And they're going to their private islands and trying to make sure that they are riding herd on that very high energy cruise line with a lot of people on there doing everything, representing every component of humanity and its rich diversity. And for some people, that's exactly what they want. This opportunity to relax and to really dig in and enjoy the kind of craziness and wild Broadway shows and whatnot going on. But that's not a good fit for my wife and I, but we have done it in the past, and we absolutely enjoyed our time on Norwegian and Royal Caribbean. The next is the premium, and the premium's kind of related. In other words, we're still talking very large ships, but some of that craziness is pulled back in. And there we've been on Disney Cruise Lines. Um, and again, we very much enjoyed our time on Disney Cruise Lines. Um, the mix of amenities and the things that were available on the ship. So very enjoyable, but still a lot of people, a lot of moving parts. And for both your mainstream and your premium, getting on and off the ship is Herculean just because of the number of people that you've got to move as you're transitioning. The next step up is the luxury cruise lines. Now, these are going to be smaller. In the case of Oceania, you're talking about ships that have 680 or 1,200, 1,250 passengers are on. So just a fraction of the size of what you see in and the mainstream and the premium, but that allows them to get into much smaller ports that don't allow the large ships in. And it allows them to have better cuisine but on the negative side, the entertainment is scaled back down because you just don't have 5,000 or 7,000 people to go to shows and to support all of the other kind of craziness that is ongoing. So again, you're getting into a different type of ship with a different type of experience with luxury cruise lines. And then above that are the ultra luxury cruise lines. These tend to be all inclusive. They tend to be much smaller ships. Um, that are, again, going into the smaller ports, seeing more tourist destinations. In the case of Explorer, it's a new cruise line, actually, and they are moving into, 300, 400 people max on a cruise ship that, again, is all inclusive. For Seabourn, same kind of size, but they've also got expedition craft that can go into areas that cruise ships normally can't go in and give experiences that you normally can't have. So I've highlighted those in orange because those are cruise lines that we are interested in as we go forward. So given that, and you're starting to do that evaluation of, well, which cruise line do I line up with? And I want to be clear here, there isn't a right answer. There's a right answer for you, but your right answer may be different than my right answer. And it's because of these components. There's a budget and value component of what's important to you and what's not important to you. There's a destination. I have friends who have cruised the Caribbean 15 times and look forward to cruising it another 50 times and have zero interest in going to the South Pacific or Europe or other destinations. Whereas for my wife and I, we're very interested in these other destinations. And then reputation and review come into it, the ship size and amenities and the trade-off, and then what are the clientele that go with that? What's the dress code? Do you have formal evenings? Do you not? How crazy are the parties? And then probably at the bottom is the loyalty program. And again, for us, we like this idea of being on a smaller ship that's going into less tourist locations, spending multiple days there, potentially flying once and then spending an extended time on a cruise once we get to retirement. Can't do that while I'm working, but doing that where you fly once, you settle in, and you really just enjoy. This idea that there are numerous opportunities to socialize or not, depending on what we want to do. Having good food and drink. So no MREs. No MREs. A predictable bill is important to us where we're not being nickeled and dimed. And then loyalty, both to the cruise line and the cruise line to us, I think is an important characteristic. So for us, we're going to use Oceania as our principal cruise line, and that doesn't mean it's the right one for you. It just means it's the right one for us. And then we'll use Explorer when we want to go out and have a more inclusive experience and a smaller ship experience. And I will note, Explorer is, like I mentioned, a new cruise line. It does not have the debt that other cruise lines have that came out of the pandemic, and all their ships are brand new, and their loyalty program offers matching benefit to a number of the luxury and ultra luxury cruise lines. I think that's really smart on their behalf because that's going to lure some of the existing cruise passengers to this new cruise line. We'll use Seabourn for their expedition ships. They're fantastic. We haven't done it yet, but we're looking forward to it. So Antarctica, Australia, and Greenland, there are some components there that I think Seabourn is truly spectacular, definitely in the ultra luxury category. And then Viking for the European river tours. So we'll use a mix of tour lines as we go along and enjoy our cruising experience. But I want to be careful. What fits for us may not fit for you. All right, well, very good. This is a little bit longer video, but we were looking at the different types of cruise categories, and we kind of settled after looking at multiple sites on this idea of mainstream, premium, luxury, and ultra luxury. We defined what each of those were, and then, of course, which cruise line is going to be best for you depends on which criteria are important to you. And so there's not a right answer. But for Eileen and I, Oceania is a good fit. We really enjoy it. We've done several cruises with them, and we're about to do a world cruise with them. But we see in our future time that we will spend with Explorer, Seabourn, and Victory as well. And you never know what's going to happen in the future. So that brings us to the end of this video on picking a cruise line. I hope it added value to you, that you enjoyed your journey with Carver Clan Travels. And I look forward to seeing you in the next video.